Now, I have some awesome builds coming up for different teams that dominate pretty much any content in the game, but I've got some content that you're gonna really need to grind. You're gonna really need a good team, and that's exploring and finding chests. Now, at around level 32, 33, you pretty much run out of everything to do. There's a couple little quests that pop up here and there, you can do your dailies, but unfortunately, once you get above 30, it is a snail's pace if you want to make any sort of progress on your adventure rank. And one of the only ways is adventuring. That means you're going to find every chest on the map, you're going to solve every puzzle, you're going to get every Geoculus, you're going to get every Animoculus. The only way to progress is to find every damn thing. And you better find a team that's better than all the others. Sure, maybe this team can slay, but it's trash compared to the others. So obviously I've spent some money on this game, but there are some different combinations you can do, and I want to show you some of the key stuff first. Some stuff to look out for in your characters, and there's some easy changes that you can make. So let's get into a team like this. This is what I would call a balanced team, a team that can actually deal with some of the enemies in the game while also completing most of the puzzles. Now, you might notice that I have two of the animal characters, and that's because if we can, we want to use Impetus Winds. Impetus Winds gives you better stamina recovery, or I guess reduction, and increased base movement speed. It also shortens the cooldown of your abilities by 5%, and this is an all-around bang for your buck awesome little thing. But then we're going to go even further with Venti. Now, Venti, you can get him for the banner. I would recommend rolling for Venti. I would recommend putting all of your resources, if you are doing wishes, if you're a free-to-play player, getting Venti, because for exploration, he's the best in the game. He is the best in the game, and it's not even close. Not only can he boost himself in the air to get on top of things, it limits the amount of times you need to climb, and on top of that, Venti has this, Wind Rider. Now, Amber has Wind Rider, so there's another way to get this, but between his ability to boost up in the air as well as glide for seemingly forever, Venti is S tier. He's S tier for exploration. But my boy Razor, he brings something else to the table. Not only does he use a Claymore and can break all of the things in the game, he also has the Woven Sprint. That means that your stamina reduction for sprinting is going to be reduced as well, which is amazing because you're going to be sprinting and dashing all around the map, right? Now, the reason I have Xiangling here is because she's one of my better fire characters, and honestly, you could replace her with anyone. You got Diluc, use him. You got Amber, use her. It doesn't really matter. If you're doing more puzzles, you can use Amber, but Xiangling does a little bit more damage. For the majority of the fire puzzles that I've run into, she is more than enough to deal with it. Now, Jean is my healer just to keep me safe, but it's mostly just to get the elemental resonance and get this speed. If you want to use the main character, that's fantastic because you can make the main character a wind character, but one thing you might want to remember is if you're in the other region, you might need Geodude. You might need to make your character Geo. And so this character, or this one here, is what I'm going to consider one of the better puzzling teams that I've made. This one I'm going to get to later, but this one is great for puzzles. So we've got the Geo, we've got the Electro, we've got the ability to smash out any big rocks with him. He's got the sprint buff, she's got the gliding buff, and then Chi-Chi is just for fill. You can put anyone you want here. You can put a healer, you can put anything that suits your fancy. One of the nice things about Chi-Chi is she can show you where resources are, but there's other characters that do that. So if you don't have a Chi-Chi, you could literally do anyone in this slot, but it's these three that I find really valuable. It makes it so you don't have to be swapping parties all the time. You've got the fire, you've got the gliding, you've got the sprinting, you've got the smashing, and you've got anything that's Geo related. So this one can be a flex character or even just like a strong DPS if you want. Venti, you can always see, you can always use Venti. Literally always use Venti if you can because he's so nutty. But I want to show you this last team. So this last team is the movement team. There is going to be a point where you literally can just go and hunt chests. Like, that's the only thing to do, and this is the ultimate movement team. We've got the elemental resonance, we've got some healing, but here's the big one. We've thrown in Baidu. Now, I don't have a bunch of elements if we're going to be fighting. This team's not the best, but now we've thrown Conqueror of the Tides into the mix. So we can swim with less stamina costs, we can sprint with less stamina costs with Razor, and we can fly with less stamina costs with Venti. Between everything here, this is probably the most efficient team and the fastest team for getting around the map, but if you run into some chests that need burning, you're going to need to swap out. So there are give and takes from a lot of these. In some situations, you can avoid swimming altogether, but if you're in the Liyue region, you might want to be swimming. There are some situations where you're going to need to swim, and so that's, important. But I've got one more. I got one last team, and this is Ice Frenzy. Now, realistically, with just Kaya and Lumina, you can make your way, over to all the different islands. He is literally good enough, and with her, you can spread the ice enough that you can just literally alternate between them. But if you want to get extra style points, you can throw in some slams, you can throw in some jams, you can even throw in some Kiki. Okay, she's got some of this. She got a little bit of... Oh, God. Oh. Magic. This team is all ice. Is this actually good for exploration? Probably not. Realistically, you just need the first two, and the other ones can kill stuff when you get there. But I figure I would show you this anyways. Now, I wish I had Badu because I'm about to drown! Now, there's a bunch of characters in the game, and there's a bunch of BS RNG to get them. I understand this. Not everyone's going to have the perfect team. You don't have Razor, you can use Xiangyun. You can use another great sword wielder if you're looking for it, maybe even Baidu. There's different characters in the game that you can obviously fit a lot of these different roles. Maybe you can't quite get Impetus Winds going, but maybe you can just get some bonus damage somewhere else, or some other value in your characters. Glide distance stamina, sprinting stamina, these are great things, but it's not going to make or break. You want to make sure you're able to do a lot of puzzles, but I do recommend that you put some thought into making an exploring team, and if you have the ability to make your team faster and able to run and sprint longer, that's great. Now, one thing, while I'm here, if you're exploring around, I did this in my tips video the other day of mistakes people are making. I'm going to show you this right now at the end of the video just because you might have missed it, but I recommend you go click the video that's up there or down there, or wherever the hell it is. Instead of sprinting around, do dashes. Do dashes, put a little time in between. It is much faster, it uses much less stamina, and if you're hunting down hundreds of chests in a day, you're going to need it. Okay? Oh, and if I have to tell you to use stamina food one more time, I'm going to lose it! Barbados Ratatouille. See that? It's easy to cook. Go on your map. Right there. Right here. Talk to the nun, get the recipe, and I'll shut up.